What he said about a week ago, it is now considered likely that Antonio Brown is going to be traded, and there were some enlightening things that Art Rooney said to a small group of Pittsburgh reporters yesterday. First of all, he said he barely earned his salary in Week 17, considering he quit on the team. They didn't take it away from him. They didn't file agreements or anything. They didn't suspend him. But he did say that he barely earned it, and that's honestly an incredible admission for an owner. He said it's hard to imagine Antonio Brown back with the Steelers in any capacity. A reporter asked him, what about AB coming in and apologizing? Art Rooney didn't rule it out and didn't discuss the reaction, but said there's been no moves at all toward that direction. They've had no trade talks yet, but they are expected to have them. I would think, from what I know, that they're going to shop him as well as get some offers. This is going to be the storyline to watch this offseason. We have never seen a player this talented be on the trade block. I'm going to be fascinated by this.
Messy, 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 and you'll be busy, busy, busy with that story. Yeah. I need you to know, Carlos Boozer might be coming on our show this hour.
Nice. Really?
So
he's not coming in my day. Yeah. That's a little frustrating.
You didn't have that insider info, did you, Rap Sheet?
Did not. Did not. Scoop. They call that scoop in the business game.
Thanks, Ian Rappaport. We'll talk to you in a bit. He mentioned Antonio Brown making the headlines, right? So here's where it all started. AB's former teammate Emmanuel Sanders joined Saturday's edition of Game Day Morning here on NFL Network as a guest analyst.
I feel like Antonio brought it on himself. Right. In turning my back on my brothers, I couldn't even come to that game and be on the sideline with a fur coat on and looking at my brothers and knowing that the playoff contentions is still on the line. I just couldn't do that.
One man's opinion. Here's AB's response to that, as well as criticism from his former coach, Bruce Arians, who called him a diva. Quote, he didn't draft me, drafted Emmanuel Sanders, same guy who missed rehab, to go on networks to talk about me in a situation he has zero clue about. Arians wears, he said, Kangoo hats and glasses, but I'm a diva? Done, seen it all, and they say we're friends. Stop lying. So Sanders would fire back on Twitter, by the way, quote, saying, you know damn well I didn't travel to L.A. to talk about you, fam. You trippin'. I went to be an analyst. You acting foolish was the topic, and I gave my analytical opinion. Get off the gas. You did it to yourself. Guys, reactions.
Well, I would argue that we have seen a talented receiver on the trading block before. It was Terrell Owens. And, you know, a lot of this and his antics is starting to, you know, to come to the light. And some of the things that he's done behind. But I think we also got to hold Ben Roethlisberger, you know, accountable, too, because I feel like he gets the biggest pass. And it just seems like it's a culture where they were covering up for guys because they were saying as long as we were winning. But what happens is when you fall short, then all these things come out and people are starting to speak their truth. And I don't know how you can, you know, incorporate him back into the locker room, because now what type of message ascending stars, the Jujus of the world and teams that are coming here. I think AB kind of sees that this is the beginning of the end, and he wants to get off the ship before it really starts sinking. Understanding that there's no Le'Veon Bell. Every year, you know, Ben Roethlisberger is saying he's going to retire. You don't know if he's coming back. So I think, you know, what can they get for him? I think he's very attractive out there on the free agent market because he's only worth, you know, going to cost you $13 million. So I'll figure out a way how to get him out of there. But the bigger question is the culture itself.
And I think from Mr. Rooney's standpoint, it's the culture and the Steelers logo and the Steelers uniform in Pittsburgh. What do we stand for? And being in a fur coat, being probably capable of playing if you went and then showing up and then leaving at halftime is not what you stand for. So to me, it's what message do you want to send to your fan base? What message do you want to send to your other players? And I look at a Cam Hayward, a David DeCastro, a Joe Hayden, some of the guys who went out there and played through pain this year and actually brought every game. And as great a talent as he is, after this stuff so publicly, I don't see how he can be back in a Steelers uniform next year. Rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go.
I hate everything about this story. I do. I hate that we're not talking about Mahomes and Michael Thomas and Edelman. And I hate that I feel like Antonio Brown's image and reputation are burning alive in front of us. I love Antonio Brown, not just the person. I love what he represents. Like, I love the superstar wide receiver who's cool and acts well. And, everything is going terribly right now. And it's not just me, from a fan perspective, like you click on his tweets, look at the replies from Steelers fans. It's a million eye-rolling gifs and get over it, get over it. Antonio Brown had it all. Like, he's in the soda commercials. He's in the car commercial.
cover of Madden.
He's on the cover. He's doing everything, and he had a Hall of Fame quarterback and the great number 2, and he just couldn't handle success. I don't know who's advising him, maybe nobody, but it's going so badly, so quickly, and maybe he resurfaces. Maybe he's an all-pro player next year, but I hate seeing this. They should have written it out.
I mean, why he was a great story is because he was a 4th-round draft pick.
6th round.
Yeah.
6th-round draft pick that changed his stripes, right? But what happens is whatever you are, money and fame makes you more of it. So what we're seeing is we're seeing it magnified before our eyes of him just showing you what he really is at his core.
We'll be talking about this all offseason, as Ian alluded to. It will be the biggest story with one of the biggest stars as we flip it over to our big star, Will Self.